And the death toll is rising from that brutal holiday storm. Now over 50 people are reported dead. Nearly 30 of those deaths happened in New York State alone. The governor is calling the storm the blizzard of the century as the Buffalo area remains paralyzed from nearly 4 feet of snow. Mona Kozar-Abdi is there.
The death toll in western New York rising after what officials are calling the blizzard of the century. A winter nightmare unfolding, at least 51 dead nationwide, 29 in New York State alone. Roads still impassable, forklifts used to clear vehicles.
This blizzard is the one for the ages.
Wanda Brown Steele's daughter, among one of the victims, found dead in her car after the snow rapidly piled up.
It's so easy to ask yourself, why, God? Why?
Emergency responders in Buffalo fighting multiple house fires, leaving crews in a dangerous battle with both fire and ice. More than 50 inches of snow have fallen in Buffalo over the past 3 days. In many neighborhoods, residents now turning to one another for life-saving help.
I'm coming.
Buffalo resident Shakira Autry took to social media after she heard 64-year-old Joseph White in distress outside her home and brought him inside on Sunday.
I found him screaming for help. When I looked out the window, he was getting blowed up and down the street. It was out of control.
Autry updating social media in a second video.
All right, what vehicle am I getting? I'm going
taking White to the emergency room of Erie County Medical Center on Sunday with the help of strangers. And one mother with no electricity, desperate to keep her baby alive when his ventilator suddenly stopped. Speaking to our ABC station, WKBW.
I was sitting there literally crying, wishing someone would just knock on my door, literally. And, you know, if they said they knocked and no one was there, if they knew a mother and father and child were in there, they should have broke the door down. We were in there. We needed help.
Shahida Muhammad and her husband manually administered breaths to their infant for 2 days until Good Samaritans came to their aid. And elsewhere in the city, longtime residents opening up their homes to these visitors from half a world away after a knock on their door.
They said, we're part of a tour group from South Korea, and we have 10 people in our vehicle. And I said, get all of them inside our house right now.
Wow, Mona, these stories, unbelievable. And Mona joins us live now from Buffalo. And Mona, how are they handling search and rescue efforts right now with more snow on the way?
Well, Diane, right now, search and rescue teams are in a better position than they were just days ago. Yesterday, we saw state troopers in the area on snowmobiles doing welfare checks. We heard officials ask people to check on their neighbors. Now, unfortunately, this is why we're seeing the death toll climbing, because they're able to maneuver and navigate the streets a lot more. We're hearing that victims have been found in their cars. Victims have been found in snowbanks. Right now, there's teams coming in from Rochester to assist with the search and rescue. At one point, though, there were no emergency crews. And for the first time in Buffalo's history, we saw all of their fire trucks stuck in the snow, and there were even the rescuers needing rescue. But even then, they were still able to do over 500 rescues. So the search and rescue effort is still ongoing right now, but they are definitely in a better position, Diane.
Now, Mona, Buffalo is used to major snowstorms. This is an area very used to snow, and they know how to handle it. So what made this storm so deadly?
That is a good question. There's the weather aspect of it, where it was just a combination of the low temperatures with the frozen precipitation, the lake effect snow, so all that together. But as you mentioned, Western New York is used to heavy snowfall, so a lot of people overestimated their ability to drive in this snow. I spoke with one woman who says in hindsight, she's a manager at Walmart, and says in hindsight, their job should have let them off a lot earlier, because by the time she was hitting the road Friday afternoon, she could barely see within feet in front of her. And she actually, not too far from here, just had to abandon her car and had a friend pick her up. And so that is part of the reason this was so difficult for people, is because they thought it was just another snowstorm, and once they got in it, they realized it was a lot more difficult.
Yeah, thank God she made it home okay. So how are people there reacting to this, Mona, and how are they coping now?
That's a good question. So people here, I mean, you heard some of the stories where neighbors are literally opening their doors to strangers and helping each other out. Officials are asking people to just check on your neighbors, and that is what they were doing because some search and rescue efforts weren't able to get to people on time. We heard people post Facebook messages when they needed life-saving emergency help, and people were just responding. The woman that I was telling you about that got stuck here, she came to get her car back yesterday, and it was just her and her friend with a shovel. They were at it for about a few minutes, and then these guys just driving around asking people if they needed help came by, and they were able to get her car out of the snow, and then they went to go get her friend's car out of the snow. So I can't understate how incredible it is to see the community of this greater Buffalo area come together and help out complete strangers, because again, at one point that help wasn't coming from officials.
Yeah, the one bright spot in tragedies like this is that seeing neighbors helping neighbors in ways you sometimes can't even imagine. Mona Kozar Abdi, we appreciate it, friends. Stay safe.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.